In this video, I'm going to be battling against 5 other traders to see who can get the biggest PnL by the end of the week. We're going to use percent gain because it makes it harder for me as it levels the playing field. And although not perfect, percent gain is a better gauge of a trader's skill. This week was filled with tough challenges, but as you'll see later, even more beautiful comebacks. Who wants to be drafted in the war? Okay, do we have some volunteers? So we have G. Willis, Yashun, Romero, Dom, and Ash as well. So we have Ash, nice. Good luck on all your trades this week. I'm gonna head out. If you have any questions about the challenge, let me know. With the traders now on their way, it was a race against the clock to go find some trades. But I already had some trades that I lined up from last week. The first one was this QCOM, which I was betting to the downside off of a flow trade that came in. It was right there to falling off a cliff. Then my T-Mobile calls I was holding from this godly breakout setup, and I was holding for one more leg up to 15, which was where all the sellers were. And finally, the FCX puts, this stock was hanging on for dear life. QCOM, baby, look at this momentum. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna hold these. Now, if we go check this FCX is dumping as well. Let's go. I'm not gonna hold this past 38.5. That's right where liquidity is, so I'm not gonna touch it. So I'll probably sell that one, and then if we look at T as well, yes, this one's pumping back to the high. So the plan with this one, hold to 15.5, which is where the call wall is, and then sell. So already I had a good start, selling FCX for 115% gain. My other two positions were up 60%, but only count if I sell them. But I was curious to see how the other traders were doing. So at market close, I sent out a message and got on a call with Dom. Yo.
What's up, man? How you doing?
So you were officially in third place. So it says you were up 18% on the week. Were you the one who talked about RG, or maybe that was someone else?
Yeah, that was me too. I think it was me and somebody else, but I for sure was one of the people that wanted to go over it.
I know this is a competition, but it's also a learning experience. And Dom wanted some help with catching rotations, a part of our day trading playbook using the RRG charts. It's a really important tool, and take a listen to what I say next because Dom hits one of these trades later, and I'm actually so proud of him. Just to recap, when you have growth coming over here and you have defensives moving out, that is a sign that the markets are going to go up. Okay?
Yes.
When you have defensives going up and you have growth getting rotated out of, whenever you have this means the markets are going to go down after they're done with that. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool. So we went over this stuff another hour just to make sure he got every little detail, and he did, man. I'm telling you. I got faith in Dom, man. Great guy. Awesome. I'm glad he's on that.
If you pump the market, I will have to bitch slap you on Wednesday.
Here's what happened Wednesday. I had to drive in the first half of the day, but I'm glad I was here for the second half. And you'll see why. First thing I did for the day was sell my T calls as they finally got the move to 15.5. That was that call wall that I wanted to sell off of, and you'll see why that was the best place to exit. I go home a few minutes after the market started getting railed. They were high off momentum, so if you weren't already in a trade, it's likely you missed out. Luckily, I was still holding that QCOM as it continued to dump closer and closer to the market close, which was actually where I placed some of my best trades of the week. Check this out. This is AVGO. What you'll notice at this 830 to 840 area is a huge liquidity zone. We've been tagging it a bunch though, and if you know water and hole principle, it's draining liquidity there. So now that we're finally dumping into it, I'm thinking we gap down here and hopefully get a break to the low, at least to 810. Especially since we already have that liquidity grab previously, this thing has to move. I'm gonna get puts here for the 29. Oh, and the other trade I found was this DD. This one right here, the guy on the flow was canceling multiple $1 million put orders, but he couldn't get filled. So I'm actually gonna take this trade assuming that his size couldn't. And I've never really seen this before, so I'm going to hit this. And little mini lesson, the reason I sold my T calls at 15.5 is not because of price action or some sort of structure, but because this is where the call walls were. Two large areas of open interest for calls or a lot of money on them. And what this means is market makers are going to sell aggressively off of these two areas because the incentive is to not close the stock above those into this given date. Once they're done, here's the leaderboard. I wanted to talk to the #1 person, and that was currently Romero. And I wanted to see what he was doing right and possibly even what he was doing wrong. What up, Romero? How are you tonight, sir?
Yeah, not bad. My neighbor's changing the floors.
Okay.
Fucking disaster. It's like constant grinding and thinking that I'm trading all night. I can't sleep.
Okay, so have you had anything this week has given you a lot of trouble? Like anything this week that has completely confused you or that you want to improve upon? I know we talked about RGs a while ago, but was there anything that you needed? And what Romero basically tells me is he's having trouble entering and knowing when to add to things or what trades are actually considered the winner.
Like I would buy one contract, then I would scale up to 10 too quickly without I would see that the trade is going in the right direction and I quickly will buy more. I'll be wrong, so the direction changes and I would still sit and think it will reverse. It's just like testing.
And what we found was he wasn't able to gauge the quality of the setups, apples to oranges. He was putting the same amount of capital on bad trades versus really good quality setups. And over time, you get completely destroyed even though you are able to find those quality setups. What you need to really start being picky in your trading is knowing what are A+ setups and what are just setups. A lot of what you took, I noticed, were setups. And you need to really be mature in filtering the quality of your trades. There's going to be a few ways to do this. It's going to be based off of your time frame. So a quality of a trade can be determined how short of a trade idea is it. If it's very short, the odds of it being super quality are not necessarily all there. Now, that's not true with everything, but understand that, you know, if we're taking a same day trade, in nature, that's going to be a lower percentage trade. That's what I mean. It's going to be a lesser quality.
Yeah.
You have to gauge the opportunity at which you're doing. So it's time of the trade, the ticker you're trading, and then kind of the setup and what other data do you have along with that trade. Knowing the difference between a good and great trade is actually a skill. And hopefully some of you guys can relate to that. You can't even make this up, dude. Literally everything is gapping down. AVGO, QCOM. I'm gonna just sell these at market open. And sell I did. I sold all my positions this week, including a small loss on AEL for a total gain of this for capital invested. But my stuff aside, there were some shifts in the leaderboard. Yashu took first place with 48%, Ash with 40%, Romero was now in third with 24%, Dom slid down to fourth, not having placed a trade at 18, and G. Willis was in last with 4. But tomorrow's Friday, and it's supposed to be a pretty decent range, so is anyone gonna clutch up? Let's see. Hey guys, happy Friday. So today is the last day traders have to close any of their positions to count towards their PnL for this week. And really from the first place to the last place, it only separates one trade, so someone could hit it. Guys, so Dom just sent me a message. He just sent me a defensive rotation screenshot from the RNG that was happening right now. We had gone over this earlier in the week on how to spot when a market would drop or pump. And so he found the trade and I just set an entry. Look at it, Dom, man. All right, and I'm gonna sell mine right now. Message, let's see here, 33%. Let's go, Dom. Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm so proud of this. The fact that we went over this earlier this week and he was able to find it on his own is really what makes me smile. With that one trade, Dom was able to move himself back up into third place to seal this first Trading Wars week. Now, if you guys want to see a series evolve as I perfect it, and of course add more challenges to myself and others, consider sticking around and help a lot, guys. And if you guys were wondering, my mentor and I do have a Discord where you too can be a part of Trade Wars. If you're not the competitive type, you can always just stick in there and learn all the concepts and strategies that have made me proficient at trading. See you guys next week. Have a great one.
I never switch sides, like even when I die.